Good evening and welcome to Joliet Memorial Stadium in Joliet, Illinois, where the University of St. Francis Fighting Saints take on the Trojans of Trinity International University in CCAC women's soccer action. Terry Bonadonna with you on the call for today's game as the Saints try to snap a couple-game losing streak. Trinity International rolls in one game behind St. Francis in the conference standings at 4-4. The Saints are 5-3 in CCAC play, and they had been battling for the top spot before dropping both games they played last week at Olivet Nazarene, a heartbreaker last week, and then at home against St. Ambrose, a game in which they were pretty thoroughly outplayed in a 3-0 loss over the weekend. So they come into play today with 15 points in the conference standings, 6 behind the conference-leading Trinity Christian Trolls, and as I mentioned coming in, Trinity International just a little bit below them, 3 points back at 4-4. So good matchup on hand for us today. St. Francis and Trinity International, a rivalry that has historically gone to the team from up north a little bit. That's Trinity International, and they will try to keep that going today as they have fallen to St. Francis just once in the last decade. Trinity International is led by their 25th year head coach Patrick Gilliam. Their star player is their sophomore Abigail Olson, who has scored 12 goals this season in 12 games played. So the Saints and their stalwart defense will have their hands full with Olson in a high-scoring Trinity International attack today as we're ready to get started. The Saints wear yellow, the Trojans are in black, and it is St. Francis getting the first kick and getting us started today, going from left to right here in the first half. They are shooting into the south goal. Trinity International, of course, for the first half will be going from right to left and shooting into the north goal. Trinity controls it on the defensive side to start things off here, but it's lost out of bounds. Going towards the near sideline, that is kicked out by St. Francis, so a throw-in coming up here for TIU. Lobbed in along the sideline, tapped out by Claudia Hernandez of St. Francis. Let's take a moment to take a look at the starters along with Claudia Hernandez. The Saints line up with Emily Galvin, Alexa Valencia Corona, Alexis Mariquin in the starting lineup today for the Saints with Litzy Mendez, Litzy Corona, Anna Jakubiak, Allison Shar, Grace Giallo, and Kelly Piotrowski. Those are the starters for the Saints in front of their goalkeeper, Yadira Estrada. Estrada had been nearly flawless coming into last week, but back-to-back games she has allowed 3 goals, so her goals allowed average is up to 0.89, still very strong, under 1 per contest as Piotrowski sends the free kick into the box. It's cleared pretty quickly by Trinity International. Estrada has started all 12 games this year for the Saints, or at least played in all 12 games. She's got 41 saves and 820 save percentage on the season, and she's been a part of 5 shutouts, including 3 of them all by herself. Actually, I take that back. She's been a part of 7 shutouts, including 5 of them all by herself. Trinity International trying to take control defensively, unable to do it. It's Litzy Mendez for the Fighting Saints. Allison Shar passes it back to the defensive side. Trinity has Sarah Davis in goal today, and Davis has played all 13 games, including tonight, for TIU. In fact, she's been the only one in net this season for the Trojans. She has allowed 1.32 goals per contest. She's made an impressive 52 saves, 765 percentage. And she has shut out her opponents 3 times this year. The rest of the Trojan starters, Zoe Viant, Kinsey Gomez, Kaylee Rice, Peyton Saragusa, Kaylin Tubb, Rachel Woods, Morgan Biusic, Kate Young, and Abigail Olson, who, as I mentioned at the top, has scored 12 goals this season for Trinity International. That's about a third of their total for the season. It's a goal kick right here for Trinity. And rolled out on the defense. They play it short. St. Francis trying to turn it back the other way, but it's sent ahead for Elizabeth Bayert. Saints take control again from the defense. Grace Giallo starts to work it forward. On the far side of the field, the Saints take things slowly here, still working from the defensive end. Finally, Giallo passes it beyond the midfield stripe, though just barely. It is tapped ahead and taken away by Trinity International. Good defense by Peyton Saragusa there. Saints try to take it right back, and they do. Claudia Hernandez is able to come away with the steal for the Fighting Saints. We're just about 4 minutes into the action here. And so far, no score, no shots for either team just yet. Saints have held the majority of the possession for the first few minutes. They're trying to keep it right now and set up some offense, but an errant pass gets away from St. Francis. Trinity takes it away on the defensive side. And it's sent ahead and out of bounds by Zoe Viant, the sophomore from Woodstock, Illinois. Trinity International comes in from the northern suburbs of Chicago, and most of their roster reflects that, although they do have a bit of cross-country flavor. They've got players primarily from the West Coast, not so much from the East, but quite a few from the West Coast, a lot of them from the northern suburbs of Chicago. They do have one player from this area. That's Kaylee Rice, their midfielder, number 8. She's originally from Romeoville, so right down the street from here in Joliet. Kelly Piotrowski of St. Francis passes off to her left. This is Galvin working her way across midfield. Emily Galvin passes it out front and gets it back. Back on the defense. Turned around by Piotrowski to the near side, and Grace Giallo. Giallo dribbles across midfield, looking ahead for the midfield, and she can't quite get it to Alexa Valencia Corona as the ball is knocked away and out of bounds. Throw in for the Saints. Claudia Hernandez tosses it in. Gets it right back from Litzy Corona. Now Mendez battling for the ball with her fellow number 15, Kate Young, and it is won by the Fighting Saints. Kicked out of bounds by Valencia Corona. She was trying to push it ahead for Hernandez, didn't have her. And so instead, Trinity International gets to turn the ball in the other direction, though not a very good throw-in. Claudia Hernandez deflects it immediately. Nice touch by Mendez. Out to Valencia Corona. Here's Hernandez trying to set something up. Claudia Hernandez's cross is deflected towards the sideline and knocked out of bounds by Elizabeth Bayert. So we remain scoreless 6 minutes in. Tossed back in by the Fighting Saints. This is Hernandez on the sideline against two defenders. Deflected out of bounds. I think Kate Young was the last one to touch that ball. In either case, it was Trinity International who touched it last. So it's tossed in by Hernandez. Grace Giallo gets a touch, but didn't get very much on that pass. Taken away by Young, and now here comes Trinity on the counterattack. Going straight down the middle of the field. It was Peyton Siragusa rolling it forward. Now to the far side. Here comes Olsen, and Abigail Olsen has it deflected out of bounds. Throw in for Trinity, far side of the field. First time today, really, that they've been in the attacking third. Let's see what they can do with this possession now. Siragusa taps it to the right. Played against Allison Shar. She rolls it ahead, and there's nobody there. So Yadira Estrada lets it roll out of bounds. She chases the ball down, and she'll kick it away on the goal kick. So the first real chance of the game for Trinity International comes to nothing. And now the Saints take possession back. Two evenly matched teams based on the records coming in. Based on the statistics as well, for the most part. So far, and we're still very early in this one. St. Francis has been able to handle possession, but Trinity's defense has done its job. No shots on goal, no legitimate chances really so far for the Saints, and that includes right here as the pass is intercepted by Kaylin Tubb. Trinity has nothing on the offensive end, though, as Tubb passes it ahead with nobody there. Abigail Olsen was the nearest one to that ball. Olsen was well behind it, though. Tried to chase it down and create a shot for herself, but the ball was moving far too quickly and easily back into the hands of Yadira Estrada. Estrada starts play moving forward once again for the Saints. Galvin gives it a big right-footed kick down the far side of the field, looking for Valencia Corona. Nearly taken away, but Allison Shar comes in to save possession for the Saints. Here's Giallo. Pass to the outside and out of bounds. That was one touch from Litzy Mendez. Looking for Claudia Hernandez along that sideline. Found the sideline instead of Hernandez. So a battle at midfield now, and it's won once again by the Saints, this time defensively. It's Shar passing back to Kelly Pietrowski. Pietrowski looking downfield for Litzy Corona, but it's intercepted. Good defense by Rachel Woods. The Saints have been trying to get the ball towards Corona, but without much success so far tonight. I don't know that Corona has a touch. Maybe she's been on the ball once, but not a consequential touch whenever she's had it, and she is the one that the Saints need to get going as they try to snap a two-game losing streak. Among the national leaders in goals at 15, shots at 73, and shots on goal at 38. She has been the lion's share of offense this year for St. Francis. I mentioned before that Abigail Olsen has scored about a third of the goals this season for Trinity. Same can be said about Litzy Corona. 15 out of her team's 44, so actually slightly more than a third of her team's goals. Sarah Davis steps up in the box, decides not to pick the ball up, and kicks it to the right instead. First time that we've seen much from Sarah Davis. Not a shot, but the ball did find its way back to the goalkeeper. It's out of bounds for a St. Francis throw. St. Francis entered play today at plus 35 in goals scored. Trinity International trying to get the first goal in today's game. The cross sent in front of the net to Olsen and deflected out of bounds. And that means it's going to be a corner kick right here for the Trojans. It was Anna Jakubiak who knocked the ball out. Got in front of the intended target on that pass and was able to prevent a quick shot from Trinity International, but does set up a good chance for the Trojans on the corner kick. Looks like Olsen will be taking the corner kick here. Comes in front of the net, one deflection and out of bounds. So that shot goes wide. Not a very serious threat from Trinity International. I believe that was Peyton Saragusa who took the shot. And again, the Saints did not need to hold their breath on it. It was wide by plenty. So no score between St. Francis and Trinity International. Now in the 12th minute of action. On a beautiful night here in Joliet. A little bit cooler than it's been lately, but we're finally seeing some seasonable weather. Temperatures in the mid-60s today. At midfield, it is Trinity International in possession of the ball. Now they're starting to take a little bit more control of possession here after St. Francis dominated the first 8 or 9 minutes. They lose it off that touch, though. The sun had been fully set for a while before this one started today. That's how you know you're starting to get late in the season when you don't get even a glimmer of sunlight for these night games. That pass pushed ahead a little bit too far, and an easy pickup for the goalkeeper Yadira Estrada. Trinity International trying to put some pressure on the St. Francis defense last couple of minutes. Got a shot on a corner kick, and that time a ball that found its way to the goalkeeper, though on an attempted pass that was just a little bit too strong for Elizabeth Bayert. St. Francis, for all the time they had the ball over the first 10 minutes, have not been able to get a shot off yet against Sarah Davis. We'll try to do that right now as Grace Giallo makes her way down the pitch. Giallo rolls it out in front of Valencia Corona and in front of Corona. Neither one of them was able to bring it in. It's out of bounds. St. Francis throw in. Goes into Alexa Valencia Corona, but off her first touch with the right foot, she knocks it out of bounds. Here's Abigail Olson for the Trojans. Both teams wearing long sleeves today. A different set of uniforms for St. Francis than we've seen at home so far this season. Litzy Corona tries to weave her way around a couple of defenders. She takes a shot on one hop. Nice play by Sarah Davis to keep this game scoreless. Tough shot for Litzy Corona. She was more than 20 yards out there. Not fully on balance as she took it. Still got a lot on that, though, and put it on target. It would have gone in if Davis hadn't made the stop on one bounce. And that's why the Saints have been trying to get the ball to Corona so much today. That's why Trinity International has put so much of an emphasis on making sure she doesn't get the ball. She can find her way to shots in very tight spaces. As I said before, among the nation's leaders in terms of total shots. She's averaged over 7 of them per game this year, or right around 7, just a shade under. About 6.8, 6.9 right now. Here's Emily Galvin. Galvin rolls it past a couple of players on both teams and cleared by the TIU defense. Piotrowski sends it down the field, and Davis lets it roll out. So it's a goal kick for Sarah Davis and Trinity International. The Trojans are 4-4 in conference play this year, but their statistics would indicate a much better team than that. In their 4 conference wins on the season, they have a +20 goal differential. In their 4 conference losses, they have a -4 differential. So in other words, every loss they've had this year has been by exactly 1 goal. They're trying to score first today. Olson rolls it ahead to Bayert. Bayert able to chase that ball down. She takes the shot, but Yadira Estrada is there to make the save. Good ball ahead from Olson to Bayert. And Bayert, maybe at a tough angle, was a little overly aggressive. Probably should have tried to find Olson again, streaking down the middle of the field. Instead, Estrada's able to make a routine save. And the Saints are able to turn it around quickly with Giallo in possession on the offensive side of the field. Sent into the middle for Corona. Or Mendez, sorry. Litzy Mendez takes the shot. and Sarah Davis makes a diving stop. One looked like it was going wide of the left post anyway, but Davis makes the save for good measure. Here comes Kaylin Tubb for the Trojans. Tubb's pass is deflected away by Anna Jakubiak out of bounds. Throw in coming up for Trinity. Overall this season, the Trojans' goal differential is plus 21. They've got a 7-5 record, so they've been very good out of conference. And even in conference, as I mentioned, a plus 16 goal differential, despite the fact that their record is even. Nice touch by Olsen going off to the right side. Olsen makes a run, takes a shot, and it's a little bit wide. And a goal kick coming up for the Saints. Heads up play there by Yadira Estrada. Estrada was able to back off. Looked like initially she was going to try to catch that ball on the fly, but recognized that it was not going to be on target. So in backing away at the last second, she was able to make sure that she didn't touch it out of bounds. She got an easy goal kick, and she decides to play that kick short and let St. Francis make their way up from the defensive end. Still looking for their first goal. Both teams are. Slow start offensively to this one. Or you could say a good defensive start between two very good defensive teams. That pass for Trinity gets away from them. And it's brought in by Claudia Hernandez, who sets up possession once again for the Saints. On Saturday, the last time St. Francis was out there, they fell 3-0 to St. Ambrose, and that game saw an early deficit for them. Just in the first handful of minutes they were down 1-0, never really recovered from that. And St. Ambrose was able to pull away in the middle stages and take a 3-0 lead and eventually a 3-0 victory. So a better start to today. They haven't been able to get the offense going just yet, but they have made sure that, unlike St. Ambrose, Trinity International is not able to put their backs against the wall by giving them an early deficit. We're now nearly 20 minutes in. Here's a run into the box, and Sarah Davis is able to fall on top of that. Davis just a little bit ahead of Claudia Hernandez that time. If Hernandez had been able to get there just one step sooner, maybe she was able to poke that ball by Davis, but Davis timed it up well. Recognizing Hernandez's speed, she was able to get to the ball before the St. Francis midfielder. Davis has been challenged a few times now these last 5 minutes, and she has been up to the test. She might be challenged again coming up here, but no, the run for Piotrowski is halted by Trinity. That was Kaylin Tubb who got in her way. And now the Trojans take it the other way. Peyton Saragusa passes to the outside. Coming down the near sideline, this is Rachel Woods. Deflected off of Tubb and out of bounds. Mentioned the cooler than usual temperature today. Cooler than it's been lately, I should say, not usual, but the last couple of weeks has been a very warm October so far. Just this past Saturday, the last time the Saints were out there, it was a sunny and pretty warm day. It was the type of day that you worry about how deep is your bench, because you want to make sure your starters stay fresh. You don't want to leave too many people out there for 90-plus minutes on a day in which the temperatures are in the 80s and the sun is out. But today, not that way at all. The sun is no longer out. The temperatures are cool, so it should be a little bit of an easier day for the starters to hang out there a little while longer. We've not yet seen a substitution. Olsen makes a long run. Olsen sends it in front of the net. Here's Bayert with the shot, and it's wide. Olsen had a great run there, and at the last second, passed it off to Kaylin Tubb. The ball got by Tubb. It looked like the pass was going for Tubb anyway. I think that was the intended target, but the ball went past Tubb and found Elizabeth Bayert on the back end. And the freshman Bayert had a really nice look on goal. A good shot would have required a great save from Yadira Estrada to keep this game scoreless. Instead, it was not a very good shot. Went wide to the right by a good distance, and Estrada didn't have to sweat it. Saints take the ball back, moving from left to right here in the first half. And across midfield just for a moment as Galvin turns it around and passes back defensively to Kelly Pietrowski. Pietrowski not able to get it over the defense. Litzy Mendez not able to control the ball off the first touch, so it was lost for a brief moment to the Trojans. But a sloppy pass gives it right back to St. Francis. No score, good game so far between these two teams. St. Francis looking for their first win against Trinity International in 5 years. This has been the best team so far this year, though. Big caveat, so far. This has been the best team that St. Francis has had over the last 5 years. And by a pretty wide margin. They have been excellent offensively, averaging about 4 goals a game. They've been excellent defensively, allowing slightly less than 1 goal per game. They finished with shutouts in each of their first 5 matches this year and had only allowed 3 goals total at this point last week. But they gave up 6 goals in 2 games played last week. So now they're trying to regain that defensive edge. So far, so good over the first 22 minutes today. Far into the field, Galvin's pass is deflected right back to her. So Galvin takes control again. Again, she passes it forward and can't find Litzy Corona. Taken away by the team in black. Here's Abigail Olsen. Olsen, good run to the edge of the box. She's tripped up and no whistle. They'll play on despite Olsen falling to the ground. I don't think we've heard that whistle yet today. St. Francis had 1 free kick earlier. I think the first couple of minutes of the match. I believe Trinity International was called for a foul, but it has been very clean and very quiet down in the field more than halfway through this first stanza now. Across midfield, the pass goes to Olsen. Olsen turns it upfield looking for Bayert. Well defended, so she passes it back to Tubb instead, and they'll resume action going the other way. Down the middle of the field. That's Saragusa passing off to the right side and out of bounds. Nobody there for the Trojans. Towards midfield, deflected by Trinity. Tubb tries to chase this ball down, and she does. Ahead to Bayert. Bayert is halted by Litzy Mendez. Good defense by Litzy Mendez. She wins that challenge. The Saints are able to push it ahead to the offensive end. That ball goes past Litzy Corona, though. Errant pass the other way, right back to Alexa Valencia Corona. And Valencia Corona's ball goes towards the back corner. I think she was looking for Litzy Corona there. Corona was not going in that direction, so the ball came to a stop down in the corner. Did not go out of bounds. And that means the Saints are able to keep it on this side of the field. Pass out of bounds there. It was from Kate Young. It looked like it may have gone between the legs of the St. Francis defender, but out of bounds, did not touch anybody else's legs after Young. This one goes out of bounds on St. Francis. So Trinity gets to throw it in here. Lobbed in high along the sideline, brought in by Bayert. One touch over to Olsen. The Saints are able to tackle it away. Kelly Pietrowski passes to her left. Emily Galvin back to Pietrowski, and once again the Saints are taking their time on the defensive end. We've seen this a few times today. In no hurry to get their offense moving as long as they still have possession of the ball. Giallo ahead to Mendez. And Mendez again sends it back to the defense. Anna Jakubiak has been playing up primarily in the midfield throughout this first half today, so the Saints have been going with only 3 defenders as opposed to their usual 4. Again, playing with that extra midfielder. Jakubiak playing a defensive midfield position, so she's been a bit back and forth, but it is just 3 in the back. Looks like 3-5-2 the formation for the Saints. Allison Shard tried to get it over to Jakubiak, but they're not able to connect. It's out of bounds for a Trinity International throw-in right along the sideline at midfield. That's where this game has been so far, at midfield. Neither team has scored a goal yet. Kelly Piotrowski looks to get it through a couple of defenders. Got it past the first one, not the second, as it's deflected out of bounds. Claudia Hernandez will throw it back into play. Giallo sized up the cross, didn't like what she saw in front of her, so instead she gives it back to her defensive mate, Kelly Piotrowski. Now she rolls her way to the offensive end. Only one player standing around midfield for the Saints, so the others get back now, but it had been just Galvin, the only one standing on their own half. Piotrowski at midfield passes back to that lone defender, Galvin. Galvin and Piotrowski are both now on the defensive side, but no need for that thus far. The Saints haven't been giving up possession. Hernandez taps it ahead, looking for Corona. The ball is knocked out of bounds by Kaylee Rice. Saints keep control of it here. It is Claudia Hernandez working her way down to the corner, trying to turn it back the other way. Well defended. Now finally she is able to stop the ball and pass it back behind her. Litzy Mendez has it knocked away. Good defense by Bayert to finish that play. Saints get it back. It's Jakubiak running right in to Peyton Saragusa. Saragusa takes possession back for Trinity. Here's Corona again for the Saints. Corona takes the shot. A weak grounder this time. And a relatively easy pickup for Sarah Davis. Again, that's Litzy Corona just trying to work her way through any hole to get a shot off. She's done that a couple of times tonight, taking some really difficult shots. But even though neither of them has gone in, it's at least given the Trojans something to think about. They've got to be careful with her on this end of the field. Here's Piotrowski. Piotrowski being very careful with her dribble. Kicks it away. It's intercepted by the Trojans. Out of bounds, we'll get another Trinity throw in here with 16 minutes to play in the first half. We've got our first substitution. Emily Soriaga checks in. Soriaga, freshman forward for Trinity, comes in for Elizabeth Bayard, who is another freshman forward. Patrick Gilliam's trying to bring in some fresh blood here. Somebody new to challenge the St. Francis defense, which has been good as usual today. But so has Trinity's. Ball sent downfield into the box and picked up on a couple of bounces by Yadira Estrada, who rolls it back to the near side and sets things up for Grace Giallo. Back-to-back losses has knocked St. Francis into the middle of the pack in the conference. They're going to need to go on a pretty good winning streak here to put themselves back in the conversation for the CCAC regular season champion. They need to not only go on a winning streak, they need probably a few other teams to collapse a little bit. Like I said, it's been a tough week. Knocked out of bounds by Trinity here. Trinity needs these points today to keep themselves feeling good about their chances at making the conference tournament. Haley Bartlaga's into the game for the Fighting Saints. They follow the lead of Trinity and bring in some fresh blood. Rolled into the middle of the field, easily cleared, but straight up into the air. And the Saints are able to keep the possession going for just a little while longer, but as they put it into the box, it is knocked away. Out of bounds for Trinity International. Trojans get to put the ball back in play, and despite 3 yellow shirts around it there, they're able to keep it for at least a moment. Saints take it back. And again on the defensive end, it's Grace Giallo. Galvin has it deflected. Taken back away by Allison Shar. Natalie Salgado is in the game for St. Francis right now. She came in with Haley Bartlaga. Anna Jakubiak sat down. A little more offense on the field for the Fighting Saints right now as they try to break a scoreless tie in the first half. Halftime scores we've seen on a number of occasions this year is not always predictive. Doesn't necessarily mean a lot, but any goal you could get would be big. And especially when you have 15 minutes to sit back and think about it. Better to think positive thoughts than having to stew on going behind in a game. Ball is worked around midfield by the Fighting Saints. They finally make it back to the near side. Grace Giallo passes back to Piotrowski. They reverse field again, going to the far sideline. Here's Emily Galvin dribbling, uncontested. Now finally finds Allison Shar in the middle of the field, and Shar kicks it away, bouncing it into the back corner, and that is out along the back line as opposed to the sideline. So a goal kick here for Trinity as both teams make substitutions. Lauren Corral is in for Trinity. St. Francis brought Jakubiak back in for Grace Giallo, who gets a rare breather here. Just about 11 minutes to play in this scoreless first half. The ball squirts out of bounds. Throw in for the Trojans on their own side of the field. Battle with the heads, finally won by Trinity. Cross midfield. Pass is completed despite a deflection. Peyton Saragusa tries to center it, and the potential clearance kick went off the side of the foot. Side of the foot of Emily Galvin keeps it alive for Trinity. It looked like she was going to get it away from this side of the field, but it ended up going out of bounds instead. So now the throw in, or the kick in front of the net is cleared by St. Francis. Here come the Trojans once again. Back on their defensive side, but trying to move forward. The Saints are able to take it away. St. Francis going towards their net loses the ball as well. Into the middle of the field, a chance for Haley Bartlaga. Bartlaga works her way back to midfield and finds Claudia Hernandez there. Hernandez puts it in the center of the field, deflected into the box. A run for Davis. She's not able to bring it in, but Alexis Mariquin's not able to push it past her. She ends up having the ball knocked out of bounds. A chance right there for Mariquin and the Saints as Sarah Davis came racing out of the net and missed, and trying to take that ball off of Mariquin's foot. But now it's the first corner kick of the game for St. Francis. Kick comes in front of the net, headed wide to the right and out of bounds. Headed directly out, really nowhere near the goal there. And the goal kick belongs to the team in black, who's got a new player on the field. Madison Martinez checks in for Elizabeth Bryant. Goal kick is rolled into the middle. Pass to the right and intercepted there. Ball pushed a little bit too hard. Too far in front of his two teammates who were in the vicinity. And it belongs to Trinity International, but for how long? They have not had any drawn-out possessions here in the first half, the way that the Saints have. Bounces out of bounds here. 8 minutes to play in the first half of action, and so far, no real action. Saints have had a few chances. That was nearly another one right there. Deflected back to Mendez. Litzy Mendez tries to get it ahead to Anna Jakubiak. Too far out in front of her. Rachel Woods is set to throw it back in. Right along the sideline, she bounces it over the head of Kate Young, who she was looking for. Whistle blows here. Maybe getting a substitution before this throw? No, she was just too far downfield, that's all. So Claudia Hernandez has to back up before tossing it in. Nice takeaway by Kate Young. Down across midfield once again. Long run for this ball is won by Trinity. Saints are able to take it back. No damage done by the Trojans, who haven't threatened in quite a while now. A couple of good shots early in the night, over the first 10 minutes or so, and since then they've completely quieted down. That ball goes forward for Jakubiak and too strong for her. Galvin a little bit too strong for Jakubiak. Throw in for Trinity. Off the head of Bartlaga for the Saints. Now they take control in the box. Corona is forced off the ball almost immediately. Saints get it back. There's a pass to the left side. May have been a shot even, with just some weird tail to it. Saints are able to get the ball back, though. It's been the story of this game. They've not been able to capitalize on their chances, but it seems like every time they blow one, they've just still got the ball. They're just going to keep going. Playing a very fast-paced game, and a team that likes to get it down the field in a hurry. Ball goes out of bounds. Throw in for Jakubiak. Tap back to Claudia Hernandez. Hernandez lofts one towards the box. It is not controlled by the Saints. May have gone off the arm, incidentally, of one of the Trojans there. No handball called as this bounces out. Cleared by Trinity for the moment. Litzy Mendez gets it right back for the Saints. Back to the defensive side. Kelly Piotrowski moves it downfield once again. We're on the far side of the field. Alexis Mariquin unable to control it off of her header. Here comes Lauren Corral for Trinity. Saints get the ball back, moving forward offensively. This is Litzy Corona. Corona very fast with the ball, able to get around a few defenders. Corona takes the shot, deflected by one of those defenders, and out of bounds for a corner kick. Great effort from Litzy Corona there, going in and out of defenders, but ultimately when there's four of them in front of you, you can bob and weave as much as possible. eventually somebody's probably going to get their bearings. It's going to be very difficult to get a clean shot off there. She was not able to get a clean shot off, but the fact that it wasn't clean is not the end of the world because it means she gets a corner kick now. Corner kick comes in, headed up into the air, and knocked back in Trinity International's direction. Saints are able to get it back, though. This is Claudia Hernandez up from the defense, deflected out of bounds. The ball deflected out by Kaylee Rice and cleared to the backside by Trinity. Stepping up, taking a shot, and wide. Game remains scoreless. Natalie Salgado tried to put one in. Salgado was freed up on the far side of the field, about 20 yards out, and wasn't the perfect place to take a shot from, but with the defense focused on the other end, Salgado was left pretty much open. So she decided to take the shot, and it just didn't go her way. So we're under 3 minutes to play now in the first half, still scoreless. Can Trinity change that here? Into the box. There's a shot, and that one goes wide. An attempt for Lauren Corral. Comes up empty. Yadira Estrada did not have to make the stop on it. Sat back and watched it go to the right. So Estrada keeps her shutout intact for now. Trying for her 6th solo shutout of the season and her 8th total. That ball gets away from everybody out front for St. Francis, out the back line. And a goal kick for Trinity International. No scores. We approach the end of the first half. Both of these teams are playing well, but have not been able to make a big play to get themselves on the board. Both teams just looking for a solid finisher right now. To the near side. It is won by St. Francis, but almost immediately given right back up. Good run by Bartlaga, and it sets up this shot going forward for Kelly Piotrowski. It's deflected by a defender. Ball is loose once again. Brought in just shy of midfield by Trinity International, but Emily Soriaga cannot hold on to possession. Here come the Saints again. Piotrowski's pass deflected back the other way towards the sideline. It rolls along that sideline, still hasn't gone out. Now finally it does go out of bounds for a Fighting Saints throw, and the Saints were just letting that one roll. Never clear that they weren't going to get a chance. Tapped back into the box, and Estrada picks it up. So we're in the final seconds of the first half. Do the Saints have one last run in them here? Haven't been able to finish any of these runs off so far, though they have controlled time of possession for sure. Headed forward. Knocked back by the Trinity defense. If they can clear it once, they can be pretty well assured of not allowing a goal this half. And they are able to get it into the attacking zone. Soriaga sends it ahead. Corral stays on sides, and now she's got a chance to set up a goal in the final seconds, but the Saints are able to knock it away. If they can push it out of bounds, it'll be halftime, and they don't even need to go out of bounds. They're able to keep it in possession, and the first half comes to a close. So it is halftime here in Joliet. Our score is 0-0. Excellent defense on both sides, and this one will be determined in the second half of action. Couple of teams in the middle of the CCAC standings, both sides with winning records on the season. It was expected to be a pretty evenly matched, competitive game. That's exactly what we've seen so far. See if it's more of the same over the next 45 minutes. But first, we'll take a break. 15 minutes to go before we start the second half, so I'll step aside and I'll be back with you after that 15 is up, as the Saints look to break a scoreless tie and snap a 2-game losing streak. 0-0 at halftime here on the USF Sports Network. About time to start the second half here at Joliet Memorial Stadium. The Fighting Saints of St. Francis taking on the Trojans of Trinity International, and a very even matchup so far. 0-0 after 45 minutes of play. We got another 45 minutes coming up right here as the two teams have flipped sides. St. Francis now going from right to left, Trinity International from left to right for the second half action. Not a ton of action in the first half. We saw a couple of good scoring chances, but only 3 total shots on goal between the two teams. 12 total shots between the two of them. St. Francis had 7 shots. Trinity had 5. And in terms of shots on goals, the Saints had 2. The Trojans had 1. So not a lot of action for the goalkeepers, but what little action they did have, they were able to make the most of. No goals allowed by either side. Here in the second half, we'll see if the offense picks up a little bit. We've got an early whistle, which is something we didn't get very much of in the first half at all. It went uninterrupted. There were no stoppages of the clock. There was only 1 foul called in the entire first half. It was on Trinity International, and it came within the first 5 minutes. I don't know the exact time, but within the first 5 minutes, there was a foul on Trinity International, and then not another one the rest of the half. So it has been a loosely called game. This free kick comes into the box, bounces once and wide of the net, out of bounds. So the free kick ends up turning into a goal kick. I don't think that from Kelly Piotrowski off her foot was intended to be a shot. She was looking to set up a teammate, but it just kind of skidded past everybody and ultimately bounced out the left side of the net. So Trinity turns it back the other way. The shots numbers that I read a moment ago don't look too lopsided, 7-5 for St. Francis. So, yeah, the Saints have the edge in that category, but it hasn't been dominant. But the Saints really have come close to dominating possession time in this one. Credit to Trinity's defense for keeping the score where it is, but the Saints have been taking it into the teeth of that defense repeatedly throughout the night. They've got it right now. Most of the first half was played with my head turned towards the right. We'll see if it plays out that way to the left side here in the second half if the Saints can keep up this attack. The run was stopped prematurely there. It goes back to the defensive side. Alexis Mariquin rolls it into the middle, looking for Litzy Corona. Corona led all players with 3 shots taken in the first half. Elizabeth Bayert had 2 of them for Trinity. From the outside, it's Jakubiak pushing it into the middle of the field. Deflected by Shar off to the left side. That one goes out the back line, out of bounds. Goal kick coming up for Trinity. It was Bartlaga, by the way, rather than Jakubiak on that ball that came in towards the box. Haley Bartlaga has been out there for the last 20 minutes or so after coming in as a sub in the first half. She starts the second half for the Fighting Saints. Natalie Salgado out there as well. Another sub who remains in coming out of halftime. Allison Shar controls that ball for the Saints. Here's Litzy Mendez. Back out to Shar. Now over towards the near sideline. Salgado tries to keep it in bounds. She does for the moment. And it does hit on the other side of the line, but it was deflected out by Trinity. Tossed in by Salgado. Mendez passes to her right. Here's Claudia Hernandez working her way to the sideline, and Hernandez's pass to Bartlaga is tipped out of bounds. So Trinity International gets the throw in. St. Francis entered play today on a 2-game losing streak. First time that's happened to them this year, which I guess is pretty obvious considering they only have 3 losses all season, as Trinity gets a throw in here. Trojans lost their last game, but prior to that had not only one back-to-back contest, but both of them in shutouts. So even though they're coming off of a loss, they've been playing pretty well of late. Their loss was on Saturday 2-1 against Olivet Nazarene. That same Olivet team that beat St. Francis 3-2. a week ago tomorrow. So 1-goal wins for Olivet over both of these teams last week. This ball rolls into the box. Sarah Davis dives on it. Davis wanted to make sure that she stopped that ball before any Fighting Saints could get to it, and Bartlaga was making a run for it, but Davis probably could have made that play pretty easily just by kicking it away. She wanted to make sure she grabbed it, and so she had to dive because it was on its way out of the box and out of the legal area where she could touch it. The ball skips past Kelly Pietrowski, but she's in position to send it back to Yadira Estrada. Estrada gives it the good right-footed boot across midfield. Zoe Viant gets to it for Trinity, taken away by Alexis Mariquin, but the Saints can't keep it alive. Lost out of bounds for a Trinity throw-in, and it's Viant who will do the honors. Back on defense, it's Kelly Pietrowski for the Saints, reversing field, going to her right. Hernandez pass is deflected back the other way. Kinsey Gomez got in the way. Pietrowski gets it back, rolls it through the circle, taken away. Abigail Olsen tries to start something for Trinity. Olsen loses it. Trojans get it back though. Kate Young starts the run, ahead to Olsen. Olsen standing just outside the box, takes it off to the right side. Two defenders in her way. Olsen tries to turn it upfield. It's deflected out of bounds, and we'll get a corner kick. So there's Abigail Olsen getting herself involved. She had a couple of nice runs in the first half that were stopped short, but other than that, she's been quiet today. 12 goals, 4 assists on the season for Olsen. So when things happen for this team, she's usually the one making it happen. Ball is sent in front of the net on the corner kick and cleared by the St. Francis defense. Another chance for Trinity. There's a turn and a shot and a diving save by Yadira Estrada. Great save by Estrada after it looked like the Saints had gotten rid of it off of the corner kick. Trinity came right back with a second attempt. And this time they're able to get it past the defense, but Estrada makes the great save, and it's first time tonight she's been asked to do so. It's only her second save of the game. The first one was an easy one. The ball hit right to her. So this is the first time that the Trojans have made her work, and she was ready for it. Still 0-0, just over 7 minutes into the second half. Good ball work by Peyton Saragusa. Keeps possession alive for Trinity. Saragusa hits it into the middle of the field, and the Saints take it away. There's a big boot down the pitch, and it's knocked up into the air by Trinity. Corona gets it back for the Saints. Bartlaga ahead to Corona, down into the corner. Corona looking to turn it back to the middle of the field, sends it into Allison Shar. Shar taps it back. Corona takes a big kick at it towards the sideline and out of bounds. I'm not sure what Corona was trying to do with that one. She was maybe trying to set up Alexis Mariquin, or if the ball just got away from her. Ended up drifting out as Mariquin looks for the cross now. Deflected towards Allison Shar. Shar is muscled off the ball. Taken away by Abigail Olsen. Down the sideline, that ball had some legs on it. It skips out towards the box, and Yadira Estrada turns it around the other way. Her pass is immediately intercepted by Trinity. Here's Olsen. Olsen off the first touch, loses it, and it's intercepted by the Saints, who give it right back. And it looked like Bayert wasn't quite ready for it. That pass went right to Elizabeth Bayert, but she wasn't able to do anything with it. Trojans take it again, and now the Saints take it from them. It's been a mess back and forth these last few moments. Neither team able to complete a pass, and finally Trinity slows it down, sends it back to their defense. Rachel Woods tries to turn it around for the Trojans, but Woods' kick skids past the midfield and all the way down into the box, where Yadira Estrada scoops it up. So it'll be Estrada who tries to bring some calm to this one here, rolling it off to her right and letting the defense set things up. Here's Galvin. Emily Galvin back to Kelly Pietrowski. Deflected by Olsen to the back line and out of bounds. So Yadira Estrada will get the goal kick here after that last one deflected right off of Olsen. No chance for Olsen to gain possession and take the shot. Now they send it into Olsen again. Olsen making a run. Can't get to the ball. Good defense so far for St. Francis. Trinity keeps it in bounds, and now finally it does roll out. We've got a goal kick. Good defense by the Saints. I think that was Litzy Mendez back from the midfield, who put herself in between the ball and the player there and didn't let anybody for Trinity straighten it out and get it in front of the net. No shot on Estrada. Saints take it the other way. Pushed down the sideline and knocked away by the defense. Good play by Kaylee Rice. Here's Pietrowski. Kelly Pietrowski down the near side. Mishandled by Zoe Viant, but she gets some help from the rest of her team as Trinity's able to take it the other way. This is Saragusa. Saragusa, nice run going all the way to the left. Now forced off the ball by Pietrowski. Her pass, looking for Bayert, goes wide and out of bounds. So Pietrowski wasn't actually able to take it away, but the contact she made going after the ball forced Saragusa's pass to be a little bit off the mark. So nice play by Pietrowski to force the change of possession. And now the Saints are able to turn the ball in the other direction. Nearly an hour into the action now. Allison Shar trips over the ball, gives it up to the Trojans. Here's Kaylin Tubb. Shar comes back in and takes it away from Tubb. Nice recovery. Trojans are in control again, though. Here's Saragusa. Saragusa chips it into the box looking for Olsen. Out in front of Olsen and out of bounds. Trinity not able to set anything up that time, and St. Francis gets the goal kick. Nothing. We've only seen one close call so far from either team. It came a few minutes ago when Yadira Estrada made a nice diving save towards the sideline. That one is tapped out of bounds. Cleared by Trinity to the back of St. Francis's defense, and the Saints let it roll back. Galvin just turns around and makes sure that Estrada is there. Estrada is, so Galvin lets her pick it up, and Estrada's punt goes well across midfield. One touch from Corona, trying to get it to Mariquin. Didn't quite get it there, though. Viant takes it away. Passed off to Kaylin Tubb. Tubb is intercepted. Claudia Hernandez sends it the other direction. Here comes Allison Shar. Shar, amidst two defenders, pulls it back and wisely relies on her defense just to hold on to possession. Sent off to the right side. Along the far sideline. Good run into the corner and knocked out of bounds. Lobbed into Hernandez. Claudia Hernandez into the box. Knocked away. Back to the midfield circle. It's Pietrowski. Nobody in front of her. She's able to take her time. Trying to find Mariquin or Salgado on a through ball. Didn't get it there. Nice work by Shar to take control back for St. Francis. Shar's pass down to Salgado. Not able to set anything up as Salgado is intercepted. Emily Galvin pushes it back in St. Francis's direction. Still on the attacking side of the field. Mariquin and Salgado in there, battling against Morgan Biusic. And Biusic is called for the foul. A rare foul in this game. And that means that St. Francis gets a free kick just over 40 yards out, off to the left side. Corona takes the free kick. Sends it towards the net. It's a good one, but it's saved by Sarah Davis. That just missed, falling over the hands of Davis. She had to take a step back and make sure that she was in position to time up her reach. A pretty good looking kick from Litzy Corona. But Davis was on the spot to make the save. It's her third save of the game. Corona's free kick from over 40 yards out. A long ways there. Maybe the best shot of the game for any Fighting Saint. And maybe the closest they've come to getting a goal tonight. But we are still scoreless. And for as good as these two defenses have been, they've been very good. You might think that whoever scores first is going to win this game. Would not be surprising. This ball sent into the box, and a scary moment for Trinity. Sent out of bounds. Sarah Davis is unhappy about it. Biusic was down there for Trinity. And so was Viant, but I think Davis wanted them to clear out of the way so she could pick up the ball. But with the St. Francis attacker right on top of it, all they could do was make sure that there was no shot there. So they kicked it out for the corner kick. That bounces past everybody, though. Nothing doing on the corner kick for St. Francis. Chased down by Viant. Or Kaylee Rice, rather. Clears it the other way. So no worries after all for Trinity International. The ball goes out for a Trinity throw-in. Emily Soriaga, freshman forward, is back in for Trinity. She played for a while in the first half, and she gets the early call here in the second half. Just over 16 minutes into the half. Patrick Gilliam calls on a sub. A lot of freshmen on this team, a young squad at Trinity International, but they have played well. Not just today, but throughout the season. That ball from Kate Young, another freshman, by the way, rolls meekly into the hands of Yadira Estrada. Young is from Sumner, Washington. Mentioned before, Gilliam has done a nice job of recruiting out west. They've got players from Arizona, New Mexico, California, Washington, Colorado, and even one from Hawaii, Crescencia Kerr, who we have not seen today, is from Hawaii. Good interception by Kinsey Gomez. Gomez, a good run down the sideline. Now she's waiting for her team to get set up. Passes it into the middle. Has Tubb. Tubb's cross. Knocked away by Piotrowski. Back to Gomez. Gomez elects not to play it and instead allows that ball to go out of bounds for a throw-in. Gomez decides she'll take the throw-in herself. Didn't want the cross on the kick. Instead, she sends it in with her hands. Knocked around by Piotrowski. Hit up into the air. Tubb was not able to make the play. Piotrowski whiffs in trying to clear it, but she gets it on the second attempt. Hit out of bounds by Trinity, and the Saints are indeed able to get the stop right there. Natalie Salgado on the sideline. Salgado lines it along that sideline. It bounces onto the St. Francis bench. That's out of bounds for a Trinity throw. Well, no surprise that the defenses have been good today. Saints entering play today have allowed just under 1 goal per contest, 0.8 goals allowed. Whereas Trinity has allowed just over 1.3 is what they give up per game. Here's a shot from Mariquin, and it sails over the net. I thought she was going to be looking for a pass there. Had a couple of players streaking across the middle of the field. She decided to take the shot instead. Trying to take matters into her own hands. The shots have been so difficult to come by today. But that one off the mark, out of bounds for a goal kick. Substitute comes on for St. Francis. For the first time today, we see the junior Azuri Sanchez. So as I was saying, it's no surprise that the defenses have been good today, but these are two really good offenses as well. St. Francis averages 4 goals per game. Trinity averages a shade over 3 per game. In both cases, though, a lot of that offense has come against inferior competition. Both teams were able to put up big numbers as the whistle blows here against Indiana South Bend. Saints beat them 11-0. The Trojans beat them 10-0. Indiana Northwest, Trinity put 8 goals on this season in that matchup, and Saints put 10 goals on Indiana Northwest. So those two Indiana schools who have struggled this year are a big part of the reason that the offensive numbers are so big for a lot of the other teams in conference. Goals have been a little bit more difficult to come by lately for the Saints, who have now scored just twice in their last 3 games, including tonight. In fact, they led Olivet 2-0 back on Wednesday of last week. Viant heads it forward for Trinity. Soriaga passes it back, keeps possession alive for the Trojans. But the Saints defense is making things difficult for them again as they go back all the way to midfield. They did not score in the second half against Olivet. After that 2-0 lead disappeared, they ended up falling 3-2. They were held scoreless for a little bit over the last hour of that match, and then, of course, shut out on Saturday against St. Ambrose in their first home loss of the season. Ball to the near side is intercepted by Kinsey Gomez. Gomez is able to clear it up the middle. Tubb ahead for Olsen, and Piotrowski stops that ball intended for Abigail Olsen. Here comes Allison Shar trying to turn it the other way. Shar looking to get it through. A long run towards the back line and just out of bounds. Nice effort there from the Saints, but Azori Sanchez can't quite get there. And so it's out for a goal kick. So we're over an hour into this game now, too. So that means it's been more than 3.5 hours of game time since the last St. Francis goal. So their offense has hit its biggest cold patch of the season. They have been shut out twice this year. Saturday against St. Ambrose. The other time was a 1-0 loss at Holy Cross back on September 22nd. Obviously, they have not been shut out in back-to-back games all season. But Trinity International is about 22.5 minutes away from doing that to them here, although obviously Trinity would have to score during that time to make it a shutout. Otherwise, we'd go to overtime if it remains tied 0-0. Headed out of bounds by St. Francis. Throw in coming up for the Trojans. We're halfway through this second half. And with very little exception, it's been played pretty much the same as the first. We only saw 1 foul called the entire first half. There have been a couple here in the second, but it hasn't been much more physical. The officiating has been a little bit loose, but there hasn't been a lot that could have been called that wasn't. It just hasn't been a really physical game. A little physical on that play as there's a slight collision between Sanchez and Viant, but both players hold their footing as Trinity gathers together the loose ball sent towards the far sideline. Bayert works her way towards the middle of the field, rolls it through the box, and Estrada picks it up just in front of the streaking Kinsey Gomez. Knocked out of bounds by Trinity. Throw in for St. Francis. Not a lot of shots in the second half, just as there weren't in the first half. There's a whistle. Foul called on Kaylin Tubb. There haven't been a lot of shots, but the few that we have seen have been a little bit closer than anything we saw in the first half. Great save by Yadira Estrada. Kept things scoreless. And then a free kick from Litzy Corona. Nearly snuck in over the hands of Sarah Davis, but Davis was able to make a nice save. So each goalkeeper has one good play on their resume for the second half that has kept it at 0-0. Kept it 0-0 here thanks to some good defense from St. Francis. Fighting Saints try to turn it quickly the other way, but the ball is sent out in front of anybody on offense. And it rolls harmlessly out of bounds for a Trinity throw-in. Lauren Corral back in for Trinity International. Kinsey Gomez comes out. It's been a little bit more evenly matched in terms of possession here in the second half. Remember, in the first, the Saints weren't getting a lot of scoring opportunities, but they had the ball most of the time. Here in the second half, the Saints defenders have had to play a much bigger role than they did earlier. Trinity's able to win that challenge and take possession. Here comes Soriaga, streaking down the middle of the field. Pushes it ahead. Can't connect with her intended target. She was trying to get the ball there to Lauren Corral and couldn't. Saints let it go out of bounds. It's a goal kick for Yadira Estrada. St. Francis entered play today, tied with Holy Cross for 5th in the conference standings. They'd love to get into the top 4, get themselves a chance to host a conference tournament game. Knocked out of bounds by the Trinity defense. Saints will stay on the attack here. Into Corona. Litzy Corona has the cross and a nice deflection. Good defensive play by Kaylin Tubb. Kept alive by Abigail Olson. Soriaga has her pass intercepted by Azuri Sanchez. Saints are in possession. Remember, Holy Cross beat St. Francis earlier this year, so even though the two teams are tied, Saints would need to finish ahead of Holy Cross. They're 3 points behind both Cardinal Stritch and St. Ambrose. Here comes Olson. Olson rolls it ahead for Corral and can't get it to her. Good defense by Alexis Mariquin to knock it away. And the Saints get it back to midfield. Sanchez forced off the ball. Here comes Tubb for the Trojans. Tubb to Soriaga. Soriaga comes down the middle, finds Olson in space. Abigail Olson takes the shot. It slips through the fingers of Yadira Estrada, but she slowed it down enough that the ball did not go over the line. She's able to pick it up. Nearly disaster for the Saints right there as Olson took a shot. Olson, always a tough player to stop for Trinity. But that time, the shot came right to Yadira Estrada. So a relatively easy save for the senior keeper, and it went straight through her hands, but because she did get her fingertips on it, the momentum of the ball was halted right behind her. And she recovered, had the wherewithal to come back and grab that ball quickly rather than let it go in. We're still scoreless now, just over 17 minutes remaining in regulation time as Haley Bartlaga taps it out of bounds. Two teams I mentioned that are just 3 points ahead of St. Francis, Cardinal Stritch, St. Ambrose. One of them, St. Ambrose, beat the Saints already a couple of days ago. Cardinal Stritch, St. Francis will not see till the end of the season. Trinity Christian leads the conference right now. And the Fighting Saints will see them later this week. That one will be at Trinity Christian. So a big week for the Saints here, just as last week was. 4 straight games against the cream of the conference. So far they're 0-2. One of those losses very tight. One of them not so much. That one deflects off of Emily Galvin out of bounds, so Trinity gets the throw in here. Tossed in by Viant along the sideline. Galvin watches it roll, and eventually it goes out of bounds. Abigail Olson came in there late on the play to try to put a little pressure on Galvin, but Galvin wasn't worried. Estrada plays the goal kick short. Galvin sends it down to the middle of the field. Kalen Tubb intercepts the pass. Tubb passes off to the right. Soriaga dribbles forward, takes the shot, and Estrada makes the save. All of a sudden, Trinity International is getting more and more aggressive offensively. It's been a long time since we've seen the Saints get a good shot off, but Trinity has forced Estrada to make a couple of saves in the last few minutes. Out of bounds on St. Francis. Here's Kalen Tubb. Tubb's pass for Soriaga drifts out in front of her. Can't pull it in, and the Saints take advantage of that by moving it the other way. Bartlaga is intercepted. That's cleared by Viant. Things have turned around since the first half of this game. All of a sudden, it's St. Francis who can't hold on to possession, and Trinity International, who's keeping things in their control, at least possessionally. Still haven't been able to set up a goal as Kalen Tubb tries to change that. Tubb moves it ahead for Young. Kate Young looks for the shot, deflected by Piotrowski. Olsen takes it away from her. Abigail Olsen now makes her way in. She's knocked to the ground. No call. No penalty kick coming up. Feet got tangled up, but no intentional contact there, and that time there is a foul called on St. Francis, but this one is well away from the net. Not nearly as dangerous as the near call just moments ago in the box. So a free kick from just about 35 yards out. It'll be taken by Kate Young. Three St. Francis defenders line up 10 yards downfield. Young's teammates off to her left. We'll see if she looks to set up a teammate or if she tries to put this one on target herself. She does put it on goal herself. Estrada knocks it down and then pulls it in before any chance at a rebound from any Trojan. Saints come up with another stop. Estrada has done her job extremely well here in the second half. That's 4 big saves in the second half for Yadira Estrada. 13 minutes to play. If this one remains tied at the end of regulation, we would move on to overtime. Headed towards the sideline, out of bounds by Kate Young. And prior to the throw-in, Saints will bring in some subs. Lauren Pekulski is in. So is Alexa Valencia Corona. Valencia Corona started this match, but she's been on the bench for more than half of the game. She comes back in now as Allison Shar heads out. Galvin takes control of that, ahead to Haley Bartlaga. Bartlaga not able to control it off of her first touch. Emily Galvin back in control on the defensive end. It's a kick down the middle of the field, deflected back, Hayland Tubb. Corona is tackled off the ball by Soriaga. Trojans have done a good job tonight of neutralizing Litzy Corona. Corona in possession now, though. She taps it ahead, gets it right back from Alexa Valencia Corona. Now to Alexis Mariquin. Nice job by Mariquin to pull in that pass from Corona, but her cross is intercepted. Back across midfield, Kelly Piotrowski chases it down and taps it over to Yadira Estrada. The Trojans have done a nice job neutralizing Corona tonight, but the Saints have done a good job doing the same to Abigail Olsen, who's been a lot more active in the second half than she was earlier in the game, but still nothing to show for it. 2 big scorers coming in. Olsen had 28 points in 12 games. Corona had 34 points. 34 points in just 11 games as Piotrowski knocks it out of bounds. Throw-in coming up here for Viant. And a sub coming on for Trinity. Peyton Saragusa is in for Abigail Olsen. So they'll try to find their offense from Saragusa here down the stretch. She is second on the team with 5 goals scored. And she's had a pretty nice night as there's a diving save again by Yadira Estrada. Great play by Estrada off of the shot from, I think that was Soriaga, who had a nice touch on the ball, but a great play. Estrada keeps it alive. The shutout, that is. It was actually Madison Martinez who took that shot. Would have been Martinez's first goal of the year if she could have made it go. What a great play by Estrada prevents it. There is an injured Saint out there. That's why play has stopped. And for the first time today, actually, the clock stops as well. Natalie Salgado is walking off the field on her own. She was down on the ground for an extra few seconds there. She was able to get herself up without any assistance and limping off the field. She doesn't look to be in too much pain right now, but does have to sit for a little bit. So the clock runs again, and we're down under 10 minutes to play. Here's Soriaga. Soriaga takes the shot, and that sails high and wide, out of bounds. We've got a goal kick coming up. The clock wasn't running, so that's why the stop right now. So a short delay before Yadira Estrada takes the free kick here. Under 10 minutes to go in this one. 0-0. Estrada's made some great saves here in the second half. And that is what has kept this game scoreless. Throw in coming up for St. Francis. Alexis Merrick went along the near sideline. While Estrada's been making some great saves on one end of the field, Sarah Davis hasn't really had to on the other. The Trinity International defense has prevented the Saints from getting too many good shots off. That's out of bounds on the Saints once again. Thrown in by Gomez to Soriaga. Back out to Gomez on the sideline. Gomez's pass deflected. Finds Soriaga anyway. Soriaga makes her way down low towards the back line. There's the shot from her and scooped up off the ground by Yadira Estrada. I don't know if that was intended as a shot from Soriaga. Probably looking for a pass. That would have been a very difficult angle to score from. Regardless, Estrada ended the play with the ball in her hands, and she's able to punt it away. Knocked away by Galvin towards the sideline. This is Mariquin. Loose ball secured by Bartlaga. Bartlaga sent it off the back of Lauren Pekulski's legs. Got it back though, still in the Saints' control. Here comes Claudia Hernandez. Hernandez straight down the center, headed away. Back to Litzy Mendez. Mendez takes the shot, and that one drifts wide to the left, out of bounds. Sarah Davis sets it up for the goal kick. Deflected by St. Francis, but cleared quickly the other direction by Biusic. Martinez tries to gain control of it for Trinity. Instead, Madison Martinez knocks it out of bounds. At midfield, it's now a Trinity throw-in. It is Biusic tossing it, make that Kate Young tossing it in. Sent towards the middle of the field, cleared by St. Francis. Soriaga gets it back for the Trojans. Soriaga gets around two defenders, passes it back, headed away by Piotrowski. St. Francis is trying to beat Trinity International for the first time in 5 years. They've had their hands full. It has not been an easy road for as well as St. Francis has played this year. Trinity's putting up another good fight. Good play by the Saints to keep it alive. Bartlaga with some good ball control allows herself to get the throw in. She passes back to Alexis Mariquin, who will toss the ball back in play. Tossed into Valencia Corona. Alexis Mariquin again with the left foot. Back towards the middle of the field. Past Valencia Corona. Intercepted by Trinity. Litzy Corona gets it back, and Claudia Hernandez moves it forward to Corona for the Saints. Corona dribbles to the left side. Litzy Corona in control of the ball, off to the left. Finds Mariquin. Mariquin tries to get it back to Corona, just a little bit out in front of her. Really nice setup there. Just couldn't quite complete that pass. Into Piotrowski. Back to Allison Shar. Shar sends it down the middle of the field. Litzy Corona stumbles a little bit. Credit defensively to Morgan Biusic. She's the one who forces the stop. Here comes Saragusa for Trinity. Saragusa right down the middle of the field. Piotrowski in front of her. Saragusa a little bit too far on that last kick. And easily taken away by Allison Shar. Here comes Mariquin for the Saints. Valencia Corona trying to find Litzy Corona. Can't do it. Soriaga takes it the other way. Soriaga trying to find Kinsey Gomez way out in front of her on that pass. And the Saints let it roll out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick for Estrada with the substitutes coming on. Abigail Olsen is back in after sitting for just 3 or 4 minutes for the Trojans. Their best offensive player is back in, along with Elizabeth Bayard, freshman from Naperville, Illinois, who's been pretty good tonight as well. Allison Shar deflected by Soriaga. Back to Shar. She gives it a big kick down across midfield, headed back the other way, and neither team able to seize possession here. We've not seen a completed pass on any of the last 5 or 6 kicks, but now finally Litzy Corona takes it for the Saints. Corona by one defender, takes a shot from way out, deflected by Viant. And the clock stops. Viant hit the ground as that shot from Corona hit off of her head, but she was able to pop back up. She appears to be okay, but because it did hit her head awkwardly, they want to make sure she gets examined. So just over 3.5 minutes to play in regulation here. We remain tied. And for at least a moment, Trinity is going to be forced to bring in a defensive substitute here. It is Nicole Budak coming in. Nope, I correct that. It's Chloe Costos who's in, number 19. So Chloe Costos checks in for Zoe Viant. Saints take possession. Off to the right side. Chipped down the field into the corner and kept alive by St. Francis. Looking for the cross here. It is knocked away. There's a ball sent in front of the net. Headed up into the air and cleared by Trinity International. Dribbling downfield, looking for Olsen. Pass a little bit off the mark from Peyton Saragusa. at midfield. St. Francis able to take over. Deflected by Kayland Tubb. Back towards the St. Francis attacking side of the field. And a foul is called on Trinity International with under 3 minutes to play. Free kick for the Fighting Saints just across midfield. Ball is set up by Litzy Corona. Corona sends it in towards the box. One hop, it bounces over Sarah Davis's head, but out of bounds along the left side. So just wide of the net. Still scoreless with just over 2 minutes left. And Zoe Viant is okay. She comes back in. Chloe Costos heads back to the bench. So Costos got just a minute or so while Viant was being checked out. And the goal kick is away from Sarah Davis. Saints get it back. Here's another shot from Corona. This one wide to the right. So Corona keeps trying to pepper Davis with shots. Again, came into today's match averaging nearly 7 shots per contest. She's right around that again today. But the Trojans have not let her get many good looks towards the net. Here comes Lauren Pokulski. Nice touch by Pokulski, but she is stopped on the second try by Rachel Woods. Good clearance by Woods. Back to St. Francis's defense. Shar plays that back to Yadira Estrada, and Estrada across midfield. Viant's first hit, intercepted by Alexis Mariquin. Here comes Litzy Mendez for the Saints, off to the right. Pokulski can't control it. So deflected out of bounds, under a minute to play, and this one looks to be headed towards overtime. Trojans take their time with the goal kick here. Saints maybe have one more push in them. With just a few seconds remaining, it's sent out of bounds. St. Francis wants to work quickly here. Will they have time to get another shot off? Not if Trinity can knock it out of bounds one more time. Battle for it along the sideline. It is rolled back to the middle of the field. Litzy Corona takes the shot, and it's deflected, and so we will be headed for overtime. So we are going to overtime here in Joliet tonight. No score between St. Francis and Trinity International. It has been tight ever since the beginning. Both teams had a few shots to win it in the second half. Both goalkeepers came up big a few times. Yadira Estrada made a couple of great diving saves to keep this one knotted up at 0, and we are going to go to an extra period. So 10 minutes will be on the clock for the first overtime. And we'll have that for you in just a few minutes right here. I'm going to step aside for just a moment. Nothing at the end of regulation. We're headed to overtime here at St. Francis. Overtime today between St. Francis and Trinity International. Two teams were both held scoreless over the regular 90 minutes, so they'll play at least a few more. 10 minutes on the clock for overtime. If neither team scores, we'll play another 10 minutes. If neither team scores, we've got a tie on our hands. But as it stands right now, it is a golden goal, so the next team to score will take a victory today. Last time the Saints had an overtime game here at Joliet Memorial Stadium, they were victorious just about a minute or two into it. Litzy Mendez had the game winner. See if they can pull off something like that again today, although we have seen some excellent defense from both sides today. 8 saves made by Yadira Estrada. She's had to make a couple of diving stops in order to keep this shutout alive. Sarah Davis hasn't had to work quite as hard. She's made 3 saves today. Saints did make her sweat a little bit in the second half, though. A couple of balls that went just wide of the net that she didn't have to make saves on, but we're close to going in and ending the game. Maybe not ending it at the time, but would have given St. Francis the win by now. Trinity has a throw-in coming up from the near sideline. Deep into the attacking zone for them. Kate Young will throw it in. Headed back by Claudia Hernandez. Right back to Young, who barely had to move. She makes the catch and tosses it right back in. Kaylin Tubb is called for the foul. Tubb tried to control that ball in the box and set up a shot. She ended up tripping up Claudia Hernandez, though, setting up the free kick for the Saints. Piotrowski sends it across midfield, deflected towards the sideline and out of bounds. Throw in for Haley Bartlaga at midfield. Intercepted by Soriaga. Bartlaga tries to get in her way, and a foul is called on the Saints. We saw just one combined foul call in the first half. A few more since then. This is our 8th since halftime. 4th on St. Francis. 5 on Trinity International so far. Free kick for Kate Young. She approaches, takes the kick, sends it right down the center in the box. The deflection off the free kick goes out of bounds. So that shot from Peyton Saragusa is knocked out by St. Francis. And that sets up the corner kick for the Trojans. Abigail Olson will take the corner kick. Immediately deflected away. Well played by St. Francis. Now they try for a quick counterattack, but Lauren Pokolski's ball intercepted on the defensive end by Kaylee Rice. Saints send it back to the midfield circle, taken away by Soriaga. Soriaga down the middle, trips up. No foul called as she tumbles to the ground. They keep possession here, but only briefly as the Saints are able to take it away. Azuri Sanchez is battling for that ball. She loses the battle with Morgan Biusic, and it's knocked out of bounds by Trinity. Allison Sharp passes off into the middle of the field for Kelly Piotrowski. Piotrowski down the sideline. That skips a little bit too fast on Haley Bartlaga. She can't get to it. It's out of bounds, and we've got a throw-in coming up for the team in black. Tubb tosses it in to Olson on the defensive end of the field. Tapped out of bounds by the Saints. Said it was Tubb on that throw-in. That's Rachel Woods down there for Trinity. Kate Young's the one, though, who tosses it in. Here's Claudia Hernandez for the Saints. Can't get a clean kick on it. Nearly taken away by Olson. Soriaga knocks it out of bounds. Allison Shar works it from right to left, going to the far sideline. Shar at midfield gives a big kick with the left foot. Deflected back towards her. This time she plays it softly into the middle of the field. Headed by Litzy Corona and knocked into the air. Cleared. Biusic able to take it away for Trinity International. Saints work to get possession back along the sideline. Rolls out for a throw-in. Claudia Hernandez tosses it quickly into Kelly Piotrowski. First overtime period, just about halfway gone here. Neither team has been able to get a shot off yet. Allison Shar tries to set one up for the Fighting Saints. She passes back to Piotrowski down along the sideline and saved from going out of bounds. Nice job by Haley Bartlaga. Claudia Hernandez back ahead to Bartlaga. Looking in front of her, a little bit too fast for Azuri Sanchez. And it finds its way into the hands of Sarah Davis. Davis's punt is intercepted by Litzy Corona. Corona has been able to get 8 shots off today, but has not been able to score. Not many of those shots have gone on goal, but she's taken more than half of the 15 that St. Francis has attempted in today's game. Headed by Tubb off to her right. Saragusa unable to control it, but she keeps it alive for Trinity International. Taken away by Litzy Mendez. Mendez tries to make her way down the middle of the field. There's a pass for Sanchez. Sanchez rolls it into the middle, and it's cleared by Trinity. Tossed into Allison Shar, back over to the sideline. That ball is intercepted. And Kate Young takes it the other way. Doesn't have a lot of help in front of her. Taking it into the defense anyway, though. Straight down the middle of the field. She slows it down. Passes off to the right. Trailing the play. Gomez is able to force it off of a Saint out of bounds. Kinsey Gomez gets the toss. She throws it into Peyton Saragusa. Gets it right back. Gomez pops it high into the air in front of the net. Estrada lets it bounce out of bounds for a throw-in, or excuse me, for a goal kick. Getting late in the overtime period here. Still no score. Saints play it on the defensive end. Kelly Piotrowski now starts to make a move upfield a little bit. Piotrowski gives a kick down the center, taken away by Trinity. And now a battle at midfield. It's won by the Saints towards the sideline for Bartlaga. She's able to keep it in on the first touch, but too far out in front of her. And it does ultimately trickle out of bounds. Elizabeth Bayert comes back in. Soriaga heads out for Trinity. Bartlaga tosses it in back behind midfield. This is Piotrowski. Right down the center for Corona. Nice job by Litzy Corona controlling that pass. And now with Tubb in front of her, she tries to work her way around towards the net. She is able to get around Tubb, but not Kaylee Rice. Or Saragusa, rather. Down to the corner. Pokulski trying to turn it back towards the middle of the field and can't get around Viant, and it's out of bounds for a Trinity goal kick here. And as we approach the final minute of the overtime period, neither team scores in this final minute. They'll flip sides and do it again. Here comes Allison Shar. Shar down the middle of the field. Long run for Alexis Mariquin. She can't get to it. It's out of bounds. We'll see another goal kick here for Trinity International. And they'll try to clear away St. Francis's chances of even getting another shot off. Neither team, though, has been able to get any sort of attack going towards the net in this entire overtime. The defenses, which have been good all game, have remained so after the end of regulation. Fighting Saints have tied once this year. This ball along the sideline, knocked out by St. Francis, and we do appear to be headed towards the second overtime. Does Trinity have time to get one last shot off? They will not. And so with the clock down to 3, we are on our way to overtime number 2. So neither team scores in the first 10-minute overtime period. We'll have a second one coming your way of 10 minutes as well. As I was saying, the Saints have tied once this year. Or, excuse me, they have not tied this year. They're 8-3 overall. Trinity has not tied this year either. So it would be the first for both teams, both overall and in conference, if this one were to finish this way. And that wouldn't be the worst result in the world, but the Saints really want those 3 points as they find themselves coming into today 3 points behind both Cardinal Stritch and St. Ambrose for a tie for third place in the conference. They try to get into the top 4 here. They entered play tied for 5th, and for as well as the Saints have played this year, they would hate to see themselves dip down into the bottom half of the conference standings. A point today would not drop them there, but they've lost a little bit of momentum with 2 straight losses. They wanted to get back in the wins column today. A point of any sort would be big for them to snap that losing streak, especially with a very tough game against Trinity Christian on the horizon. Not a lot of action in that first overtime period. We saw just one total shot. It came from Trinity International. The Trojans have outshot the Saints today 16-15 overall. We saw just one total shot. It was not on goal. So Estrada still has made 8 saves for the match. Sarah Davis has made 3. Saints head out onto the field as they go back on the side that they manned in the second half. No real wind today, so I don't think there's any particular advantage to shooting in either direction. The team shooting towards the south goal, I think, has by and large had more success today. I don't know if there's anything to that. That would be Trinity International in this overtime period. We'll see if it plays out that way. Didn't really in the first overtime. No clear advantage for either side. 10 minutes away from this one finishing in a draw. Both teams will throw their best out there for the final 10 minutes to try to get that one goal they need to come out on top. Here's Alexis Mariquin. Passing it ahead for Corona or Valencia Corona. It lands in between them and is intercepted by Trinity International. Estrada lets it roll back to the box. Decides not to pick it up and instead kicks it off to the right side. Pietrowski to the right for Claudia Hernandez. Hernandez deflected at midfield. Towards the sideline, out of bounds. Knocked out by the team in yellow. Throw in for Trinity. Kate Young set to toss it in from the far side of the field. A high throw into the box, deflected right back towards the sideline by St. Francis and out of bounds. They'll get another one here. 1 minute gone in the second overtime period. Another high arcer from Young, headed away, this time upfield. Deflected back into the box. Abigail Olson taps it to Bayert on the right side. Bayert not able to keep it in command, and it's knocked out by St. Francis. Throw in for Viant. Into Elizabeth Bayert. Bayert tries to turn it upfield. Instead, the cross to Abigail Olson. Olson not able to get to it. And it's sent out of bounds along the sideline. So no shots yet in this second overtime for Trinity International, but they've kept the ball on this side of the field for 2 straight minutes. Essentially, the Saints did get the opening kick of the overtime period, but lost it pretty quickly. Young lets that one go out of bounds, and she'll throw it in again. Foul called on TIU, so this time the Saints will get a chance to clear it. And they'll try to turn around momentum here in the second overtime period. So far they haven't been able to get anything going their way. Here's Allison Shar. Shar's pass maybe a little bit too hard for Valencia Corona as it deflects off her chest and ricochets back over to Trinity. Saragusa off to Gomez on the right side. Gomez looking for help over the middle. There's a header away by St. Francis and cleared. Good defense from the Fighting Saints. They're able to use teamwork to get it out of harm's way for the moment. Finally, at the 3-minute mark of the second overtime, the Saints are able to turn it in their favor. Can they get a serious run here? Knocked out of bounds by Trinity, and the Saints get the throw in. Tossed into Litzy Corona. Knocked away by Trinity, and Bayard taps it out. Along the sideline, a run for the Fighting Saints. Knocked by the Trojans towards the back line, but it deflects off of St. Francis out for a goal kick. Lauren Pekulski touched that one last. Goal kick for Sarah Davis, headed by Pekulski back the other way. Davis is going to chase it down again and pick it up just at the edge of the box. Then she takes it up to the front where she can get rid of it. Still nothing here. After about an hour and 45 minutes of soccer. Gomez has it deflected out. Anna Jakubiak got her foot on that ball, forced the throw in for Viant. Zoe Viant along the sideline for Kinsey Gomez. Gomez controls it off her chest, passes back to Viant again. Deflected away from behind by Valencia Corona. Tap back to Yadira Estrada, who kicks it down the sideline. Gomez tosses it into Olsen. Abigail Olsen with 3 defenders around her. Can't control it. Valencia Corona taps it into the middle field for Pekulski. Pekulski sends it forward. There's nobody there. Mariquin's trying to make the run on it. She can't get there in time, but she does force Trinity to kick it out of bounds. Kaylee Rice sends it out for the throw-in. Here's Corona. There's the cross from Corona. Pekulski can't get there first. Instead, it's Rachel Woods who knocks it away and back into the hands of Sarah Davis. Davis, the junior goalkeeper, the only one who's manned the net for Trinity International this year. She's gone the distance once again tonight. 13th game of the season for Trinity. Trying to pick up their 8th win. The Saints have played 1 fewer. They've already got 8 wins. Trying to snap a 2-game losing streak today. And a tie would snap the losing streak. Not what they were looking for coming in, but with 4 minutes to go. Both teams trying to get that last goal, but with the understanding that 1 point right now would be better than nothing. Abigail Olsen checks out. And Emily Soriaga comes back in. So that's the best goal scorer by a wide margin for Trinity, who is on the bench presumably for the rest of the way, considering we have fewer than 4 minutes to play. Anna Jakubiak set to toss it in. Finds Litzy Mendez, who passes back to Allison Shar. Here comes Kelly Pietrowski down the middle of the field. Pietrowski sends it in towards Mariquin into the box. A chance for Valencia Corona, but it's deflected away. I think that was Kaylee Rice who knocked it out of bounds. Another chance for the Saints as Litzy Corona falls over the ball. Tough break for St. Francis. Trinity quickly on the counter. Coming back across midfield. It's Kaylin Tubb. Tubb into the middle of the field for Soriaga. Taps it back across midfield again. Saragusa sends it down towards the sideline and out of bounds. Claudia Hernandez back into the middle of the field. Allison Shar blows by two defenders. Now Shar's in a little bit of space. Sends it forward, intercepted by Zoe Viant. Viant passes to the middle of the field, and Kaylin Tubb back to the far side. This is Bayart. Elizabeth Bayart into the middle of the field for Saragusa. Nice move by Saragusa to get around Corona. Knocked away by Shar, deflected towards the sideline by Saragusa, who took one right in the gut. It's kept in bounds by Viant. Kinsey Gomez trying to push forward for Trinity, but she went out of bounds. Just 2 minutes to play in the second overtime period. And we are on our way to a tie if nobody can score during that time. Yadira Estrada made a couple of great saves in the second half to force this overtime period. In the overtime itself, though, not much action from either team. We haven't seen too many scoring chances here. Will that change in the final 90 seconds? We'll find out. Trinity in possession of the ball, passed back, and nearly intercepted by the Saints. They do take control. Claudia Hernandez loses it, sent back the other way. Here's Litzy Mendez. Mendez turns and fires it to the middle of the field. Valencia Corona, and now Litzy Corona comes in, and a foul is called, I think, on Valencia Corona rather than Corona. Doesn't really matter. Either way, it's on the Saints. So under a minute to play. So with less than a minute to go in the game, Trinity tries to push the ball forward for one last chance for them to score. Peyton Saragusa forced off the ball by Litzy Mendez. Nice play by Mendez. Mendez pushed from behind by Saragusa, and Saragusa is called for the foul. Mendez wants to move quickly and set up a scoring chance for the Saints. That ball bounces past Corona, back to Saragusa. Saragusa gets by Jakubiak and pushes it back to Yadira Estrada. 25 seconds to go. Estrada punts it down towards midfield, right down the center. It bounces towards the sideline and out of bounds. Throw in for St. Francis. They need to work quickly to get a shot off here. Mariquin tosses it in, intercepted by Kinsey Gomez. Gomez takes it away, and Jakubiak tries to get it back, but it doesn't look like there will be any time for either team to score here, and this one ends in a scoreless tie. So both defenses, as they did throughout most of the game, stay strong in overtime, and neither team is able to get a shot off here in the second overtime. We remain tied 0-0. That is our final score. So the Saints' record goes to 8-3-1 on the season, and Trinity's record goes to 7-5-1. Both teams pick up a point in the all-important conference standings. They now stand at St. Francis with 16 points. Trinity International picks up one for their 13th point of the season, and it's not the three that the Saints wanted to try to move into a top four position in conference, or at least a tie for a top four position. But they do get off the schneid after having lost back-to-back games. They are back in the points column with the tie today. They'll be back at it this weekend with a tough game against Trinity Christian on the road, and that's one they're going to need to get the offense going for again. This is a team that has averaged 4 goals a game. They have now been shut out in back-to-back contests, though, and it has been over 4 hours since their last goal overall in terms of gameplay. Back-to-back shutouts, they were held scoreless for the second half against Olivet Nazarene again. So they'll try to get the offense back in gear over the weekend. Today they were able to get 15 shots off, only 3 of them on goal, though, and no shots in either overtime period. Trinity finished with 16 shots. They had just 1 total in the 2 overtime periods. Litzy Corona finished today with 8 shots, and Yadira Estrada stopped 8 shots. So they were the 2 stars of the game for the Fighting Saints, but they were stars in a game that did not see any goals scored. So, again, a tie in this one, 0-0, the final score. Both teams pick up a point, and they will both try to get back on the board with a win over the weekend. Again, St. Francis will be on the road at Trinity Christian on Saturday. That'll do it for this broadcast. The Saints and the Trojans knotted up at 0. St. Francis still looking for their first win against Trinity International in 5 years, but they are able to halt their losing streak, both in the all-time series against Trinity and overall this season with the tie today. Thanks for tuning in as St. Francis is locked up with Trinity International 0-0. Until next time, this is Terry Bonadonna signing off for the University of St. Francis. Have a good night.